And now,
this is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. Watching us live on one of the social media pages. If this is your first time checking us out, thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q and Jazz. Good morning. How is everyone?
What up?
Morning.
How y'all feeling this week? How was your week?
Good.
Good.
Yeah,
man. Getting over that gloomy week.
Right. Yeah, I'm feeling good though. I got to catch up on some of my shows this week. Snowfall, All American, and The Winter Soldier. Y'all watching any shows right about now?
Snowfall out of those.
Okay. All right.
Snowfall is definitely the one.
Yep, Snowfall.
Yeah, that's probably the go-to. And then you have Queen of the South. That's another one.
Yeah, and I need to pick that one back up.
For sure. Yeah, but coming up on today's show, former Chiefs assistant Britt Reid is charged with felony DUI stemming from Super Bowl stemming from a Super Bowl week crash, and it started Super Bowl. So the Buffalo Bills, actually, they requiring a vaccine passport for fans to come to stadiums. Q, you gonna get your vaccine passport?
No, because I'm not going to a Bills game.
But and just in time for summer, Boulevard Brewing Company launches Tip Your Cap Baseball Beer in partnership with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. That's huge. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our Sneakers of the Week during our Hater 11 segment. But before we get to our headlines, we have a special guest on the show for today. Good morning, Jada. How are you?
What's up? What's up?
We have special guest Jada Williams. She's the number 13 basketball prospect in the country for high school girls in the class of 2023. Jada, thanks for doing this. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. What's you recently committed to UCLA? Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What was that feeling like to be able to finally select where you want to go to school?
It's definitely a stress reliever just because the whole process it's a lot. Like when you go to tournaments and there's like 200 coaches sitting on your baseline, it's overwhelming sometimes. But just to know and to have the opportunity to commit early, it's a blessing.
Now, I've had young people tell me that when you have so many schools that are recruiting you, it kind of wears on your mental, during the high school basketball season, because you're worried about, the scholarship and who's watching and all that. But when you finally make that decision and you were able to go out there and now you can play free, it seems like, do you feel that way at all? Do you feel like it's a weight lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, definitely some weight lifted off my shoulder. And I think I speak for all athletes. Just the whole recruiting process in general is scary sometimes, and it can be overwhelming. And just like you said, it weighs on your mental. And sometimes you're just like, is this really what I want to do? But once you know and you really, really know, then it's super exciting. And you get to be the player that they want you to be and just play free and play how you know how to play and just not worry about who's on the sideline.
Now, of course, you've grown up in Kansas City, and I know you trained with our guy Marcus Walker. What has he meant to your development?
Oh, that dude is he's like a big brother, uncle, father figure, all that put in one. He was at my baptism, so that's my godfather now. And so just having him in my corner as my trainer and as a big brother and just as a mentor in general, it's super amazing just because he has my best interest, even if it's not about basketball. Yes, he taught me a lot about the game and all that stuff has led to off the court as well. But just having him in my corner and just being able to count on him and vice versa, is my guy.
Right. Q, I think you had something. Q, your mic is off.
Sorry about that. Yeah, coming from Kansas City and being on such a big stage like that, you talk about how it weighs on your mental. But let's talk about that the other side of that. How did the kids at school really react to this news? Your peers.
Well, I have kind of a small friend group, so I don't really talk to a lot of people. Most of my friends are on the basketball team or on the track team, so I see them every day. And so a lot of them was guessing the week before, I think you're going here, I think you're going here, but nobody really knew. But they were all supportive and super excited for me. They all support me, even if I'm running track or playing basketball, either one. I know that they got my back, and so they were just super excited for me. And really everyone, even my teachers and my coaches, they were all super excited for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, who are some of the people that you look up to, whether it's athletes or family?
Definitely my mom. I say people like Steph Curry just because I'm big in my faith. And then on the sports broadcasting side, like Gary Champion, Brittany, Elena, people like that.
That's cool. And are you looking to go into sports broadcast?
Yep.
That's perfect right there. Because a lot of young people right now, they don't really know which direction that they want to take as a plan B to basketball, because basketball is not going to be forever, or sports isn't going to be forever. So you definitely have to have that plan B that you have in your back pocket. Now, of course, you have still a couple of years left to go at Blue Springs. What's the squad going to look like for this upcoming season?
All I gotta say is stay tuned because we're coming different next year.
Yes,
I love the
indeed.
confidence for sure.
Definitely
I know your mom said that you had practice today. How's AAU looking for you?
Good. We're actually at our second practice right now. I'm about to walk in once I get up here, but just it's something new this year. I switched to AAU team, so just adapting and just creating a bond with all my girls, and it's super fun.
Now,
Yeah.
are most of the teammates from the Kansas City area, or are they from, nationwide?
Nationwide, you got to touch the state, so we got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and Springfield.
Perfect. When is your first game?
Our first game next weekend in Dallas.
In Dallas. So on the AAU circuit, like who is the top team right now? Because I know it changes from year to year depending on, when athletes kind of age out. But right now, who is the top team in your
I would
age division?
say, well, I play 17U, so I say the team to beat is definitely FBC United out of Georgia.
Oh, really? Who's their top player?
They're all top players.
Really?
They're stacked up.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about these AAU teams, because you can have, a few of the top 100 kids all on one team.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, this team's like all top 10.
Oh, really?
Yes, in class 2022 and 23.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna have to take it out to some of Jada's basketball games coming up this season. When are you playing again around here?
Not till high school season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't really play in KC.
Yeah, number 13 in the country. She doesn't have time for here yet,
Well, Jada, we wish you much success in the upcoming AAU basketball season, and also in the rest of your high school years coming up.
Definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That was Jada Williams joining us on today's show. Q, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to get to today's headlines. We'll be right back. This is The W.
You're tuned in to The W with Walls and the crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
From the moments that shape our lives to those that shape our days, broadcasters are there, delivering the most trusted news that keeps you informed when it matters. We are your neighbors, a trusted voice, a lifeline. We are broadcasters. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You're tuned in to The W with Walls and the crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Back in on the W show. We're right here, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, or you're watching us on one of our social media pages. We appreciate you. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Former Chiefs assistant Britt Reid charged with felony DUI stemming from Super Bowl week crash. Now, just more than 2 months after his involvement in a multi-car crash during the week of Super Bowl 55, former Kansas City Chiefs assistant Britt Reid has been charged with a DUI. Q, your thoughts on this?
Man, it it seems light, and especially for the violation that it was. Um, I'm sure there's more to the investigation and things that need to come out. But just a DUI that doesn't sound like enough, especially when you endanger the whole family and hospital the child. Um, so I'm looking forward to more charges, and then whatever settlement that the family gets, because they are owed a lot, in terms of a conviction and a sentence that makes sense, and then also to be compensated.
Now, Jean Peters Baker is the prosecutor on the case, and she posted earlier this week on Twitter that Missouri law requires victims who suffer substantial risk of death or injury causing serious disfigurement or protracted loss of impairment of the function of any part of the body, and said that she's grateful that any victims of the case didn't suffer that level of injury, and that you know what, I think she understands the seriousness of where this case is, the magnitude of this case, right?
Yes.
And for the maximum conviction to be 7 years in prison, that's the max that he can receive under what happened. I think for a crime that has left a little girl damaged for the rest of her life, I don't know if that's
it's not enough.
I don't know if that's enough, right? I don't know.
Not enough.
So it's still yet to be seen as far as what the conviction is going to be, if he's even convicted at all.
He won't be.
You don't think so?
Not at all. When we're in America, where the tagline reads "Justice for all," and it's justice for those that aren't up against somebody that's wealthy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We have to let it play out for sure. And it's Andy Reid's son too. So
exactly.
Is that something that we need to be concerned about as far as we look forward to the rest of the case?
I think the only concern is the money and the fame behind who's related. And again, I think that normally trumps justice in America. So
for sure.
And NFL changes offseason program, implementing hybrid setup amid players' pushback on in-person workouts. Several NFL teams released statements through the NFL Players Association announcing their intention of boycotting voluntary workout programs. The league has informed teams of the implementation of guidelines allowing for a hybrid setup that will feature both virtual and in-person sessions this spring and summer. What are you guys' thoughts?
Here's the interesting thing about this. The NFL is now listening to players. And I don't know if it's because they've learned from last season. They've had a substantial number of players that, opted out last season. Star players. I mean, you look at Damian Williams. He was arguably, could have been the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl Live down in Miami with the Chiefs. So it's very ironic too that when we look at last season, most of the guys that had given their opinions about how the season should go, yet the NFL still did what they did. Now you come turn around this year and it's like, all right, we're going to listen to you guys. We're not going to do what's best for the shield, what's best for the NFL. So, and the other thing is money. The NFL and NFLPA has come to an agreement about the workouts and bonuses. There are about, I believe, 203 current NFL guys who have workout bonuses in their contracts, which basically means if they show up for off-season workouts, they get paid more money. That's basically what it amounts to. Now, with this agreement, guys can opt out and do everything virtually and still get paid, which is huge because it's a no-brainer. Q, if you were an NFL guy and said they told you, hey, you don't have to show up, but we're still going to pay you just to log into your computer and do workouts from home, you'd love to do that, right?
It's a no-brainer, and we've seen it for the past year. If anybody can work from home, they opt into that scenario. and especially with high stress jobs like the NFL.
Right.
If for every second I don't have to be there, I won't be there. And I think it's a huge step for the NFL, because we know how they are all about control. So yeah, it's definitely a huge step, but we hope it bleeds into other areas.
And I know we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. However, it's interesting to me that NFL teams intend to have vaccines available to all players, but will not make it mandatory, although they will be quote unquote encouraged.
Yeah.
I feel like if fans have to take it to come to games, then the players should as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's gonna get to that point. That's just a nice warning before we say you have to get it. So yeah, it's just a whole slippery slope, and the NFL just plays quiet about everything.
I agree. But I think a lot of the pushback for the virtual or for doing virtual, I think a lot last year they were able to see that it was possible to do everything virtual. So now it's like, even though it may not be necessary or they have to do it, everybody's just kind of like, why not do it? If we don't have to be there, kind of like you said, why be there? So I think that's where, on the player side, that's where a lot of the pushback is coming from. It's just that we saw that it was possible last year. Teams were still winning games. So why not keep it that way? And I don't blame them. I feel like I would be the same way. The last time that I've been up there, if I don't have to be up there, then I would rather do that too.
For sure, especially if you could just work out from home, roll over, click on your computer, like, hey, I'm doing these push-ups real quick. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially getting paid for it. That's easy money. Easy money.
For sure.
Now, like we mentioned earlier, Buffalo Bills are to require vaccine passports for fans, allowing for full capacity at the stadium. Q, what are your thoughts?
If that's what's going to work for them, I think it should happen. I believe the NFL should come up with a protocol for all home teams that's consistent across the board, because that's what would make sense. But then again, we're talking about the NFL, and they do what they think makes sense, and it's a good thing that the Bills are taking this step forward, and actually being intentional about what the season's going to look like ahead of the season. So, so they can start working on protocols. The NFL had to shut down a couple of games last year. So, it shows how unprepared they're willing to be. And I think it's huge on the Buffalo Bills just to come out to be one of the first teams to say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this is what the season looks like.
I agree, Q. And to me, when you have to be that team that's going to step up and say, and again, it's not the team, it's more or less the city of Buffalo. They've come out and said, all right, if y'all want fans at these games, or fans want to go to the games, and I'm not sure if the city of Buffalo owns the stadium, like Arrowhead, because Jackson County owns Arrowhead Stadium. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs. So they, dictate what goes on at the stadium. The Chiefs are basically just, leasing it. So I don't know if the city of Buffalo owns it, like, the city of Jackson County. But they're dictating what's going to happen, what's going to take place for fans to be able to go out and enjoy a football game. And it's a huge step for the city. And I think they're putting the NFL on notice, assisting the Buffalo Bills to put the NFL on notice. Like, hey, we want all fans to be there. Last year it was like, we weren't doing too good. However, they did make the playoffs, but they want fans to be there because, of course, as we all know, having more fans inside of the stadium helps the team. It helps the team, helps the players, and also helps the team's bottom line. So
yeah, and it definitely does. And then now they have something to be excited about, especially after watching the Super Bowl. So I know they want to come in and see how things look for this season.
For sure.
For sure. Now, the Timberwolves and Nets wore special warm-up shirts after the Dante Wright shooting. The shirts read "With Liberty and Justice for All." Minnesota also held a moment of silence for Wright prior to the start of the game. Steve, we'll start with you.
I think this is huge. It's good because the players who are public figures who are looked up to, they're able to shine a brighter light on situations that happen in our society today, and it's good that they're stepping up, because there had been a gap between, when you look at athletics as a whole, back when not long ago, but back when, like, Muhammad Ali, when he stood up for what he believed in, he was looked at as a radical. And then there was that gap of in the early 90s and then early 2000s where we didn't have many athletes who stood up for what they believed in. They kind of took the back seat to everything. Now you're having players like Kevin Durant, Colin Kaepernick, we're having LeBron James. All these guys are standing up to what they believe in, and it's huge. It's huge for society, and it's huge for just the culture as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely huge. And shout out to the WNBA players, for really starting this trend and staying on that. Making a message with the warm-ups, it means a lot. And they understand how they're photographed. They understand how things are archived now in today's society. And, to make that statement without saying much at all, it shows that they're on the right side of humanity. And, everyone that's upset about it, they're definitely on the wrong side of that.
Thank you.
For sure. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll continue our top headlines discussion. And just in time for summer, Boulevard Beer has launched Tip Your Cap Baseball Beer in partnership with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. Start off with NCAA reportedly expected to approve one-time transfer rule for undergraduate athletes. Expected to approve a one-time transfer rule that will allow all student athletes to change schools once without needing to sit out for a year. We'll start out with you, Steve.
If y'all didn't know, this rule has already been in place for other sports, other than football and men's basketball, and especially with so many student athletes who have entered the transfer portal, year in and year out since that transfer portal deal has been available, has been an option. It's inevitable. It was. Because we talk about this each and every week, Q. We're seeing more and more this power shift in college athletics. where athletes are beginning to hold all the cards. And now coaches will have to work much harder to keep these guys, which is my problem with AAU, but we'll save that for another day. Now, in a statement from the NCAA Council Vice Chair John Steinbrecher, he said, allowing student athletes a one-time opportunity to transfer and compete immediately provides a uniform, equitable, and understandable approach that benefits all student athletes. So, I mean, I think they're really trying to save face, with to take the light off of athletes being able to get paid. That's all that this amounts to being. It's like, all right, we're going to give you a little bit. We're going to, have that dangle that carrot over here, and then give you a little bit over here. But we're not going to give you the full thing, which is what athletes want at the end of the day.
No, definitely, and you see why they put out a press release for something that affects the athletes that have created their wealth. Again, this is for changes in men's basketball and also in football, and those athletes, they make all of the money,
right?
So yes, it's to save face. Yes, it shows the inequality that has been forced within college sports, and I just hate that it takes so much for that transfer of power, and for them to still have some sort of control under those players. I love it for the players to be able to get out of situations that aren't the best for them. And I hope that someday they're able to make that number a little higher.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit more for these college athletes to get paid. I really believe there has to be some type of boycott. And I get it. Seniors is like, hey, I'm not boycotting, and they're going to look out for themselves, which is understandable. You got to look out for you and do what's best for you. But for it to change, I really feel like the top athletes are going to have to say, hey, we're not playing these games unless you start paying us.
Well, and I mean, some of that shift is also starting to come with, with players going to HBCUs. So then again, you look at, the head of the NCAA and things that that actually help black people become, better, especially financially. They're going to find a way to shift that back into their pockets.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was thinking from the athlete standpoint that being able to transfer and play right away is a game changer. Like Q said, I think a lot of athletes stay in a sticky situation or a situation that they're not happy with just because they don't want to go somewhere else and sit out for a year. And so I think I love to see it for the athlete side that, like you said, you can get out, you could go somewhere else if that's what you think is best for you, and you're not necessarily penalized. I feel like at this point, you're almost penalized for getting out of a situation, having to sit out a whole year. And you never know what that situation may be. It doesn't necessarily have to be just because you want to hop somewhere else to get a ring. Maybe you just needed to do something else that was better for you.
Exactly.
I love to see it for the athlete side.
And for this one time, for it to be a one time, and you don't have to sit out, we're gonna see some guys are like, all right, coach, if you don't play me, I'm not gonna be here next year. So we're gonna start seeing it's gonna get a little weird before it gets better, honestly. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Definitely. And you see a lot of what Le'Veon Bell started and openly protesting his situation. It hasn't worked out so well for Deshaun Watson, and it definitely didn't work out for Antonio. Well, it worked out for Antonio Brown. He got a ring. Yeah. He had to go through some loopholes for that, but still, yeah, you're gonna see a bit of contention that starts coming up in the next couple of years, especially from the NCAA side.
And it takes a heck of a person to buck the system. It really does. You have to have a strong, thick skin.
Definitely does,
and some thick pockets as well.
Yeah, because I know from the DJ world in Kansas City, it's you couldn't play hip hop in a lot of places a couple of years ago. Now it's the popular thing now.
Yep.
For sure. Now, Boulevard Brewing Co. launches Tip Your Cap Baseball Beer in partnership with Negro League's Baseball Museum. A portion of the proceeds from the beer will be donated to the Negro League Baseball Museum to support its mission of preserving and celebrating the rich history. We'll start with you, Q.
Yeah, we can start with me. This is my area of expertise. No, I'm kidding. But I love it. It is a good gesture, especially to show support for the Negro Leagues, and this push that's been pushed forth from them, especially starting with the MLB and different things where they're getting recognized more. My only drawback is I hope it's good. Like, I hope this is a good beer. And when you look at Black culture, there are certain things that Black people like, and especially in beer and in alcoholic beverages. So you hope that they start taking that into account. But for now, I guess it's baby steps.
And you hit the nail on the head, Q. And also, I see that St. Louis Stars shirt you have on right there. Most folks wouldn't know that shirt right there.
Yeah,
Negro League team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see more and more brands, celebrating us and our heritage, right? The Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, they've received so much love over the past few years. And shout out to our guy, friend of the show, Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro League Baseball Museum. He's been at the forefront of this, pushing the Negro Leagues forward, and making the Negro Leagues also a more of a household name as well. So shout out to him and shout out to the Negro Leagues. And like you said, Q, I hope that the beer is good, because I will definitely buy a few cases.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm gonna drink them. I'm not, but I'm gonna buy a few.
For sure. Well, they'll be available on tap and in cans May through August 2021. So get you one. Now, Titans great Eddie George hired as Tennessee State head coach. George is replacing Ron Reid, who had been with the Tigers since 2010 before the school parted ways with him Monday. Tennessee State and HBCU hasn't made the FCS playoffs since 2013 and just wrapped up a 2-5 season.
Ooh, another NFL star that is breaking the mold, so to speak. I mean, we saw it, of course, with Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Now Eddie George. The thing that I love so much is that he's basically coaching for no money. I looked at the terms of his contract down there at Tennessee State, and with all of his incentives, he'll make only $100,000. Now, I say only $100,000, like that's no money. That's still a substantial amount of money to the regular person. However, it's a huge gap from the top paid head coach. Q, what do you think Nick Saban is getting paid?
Oh, I think Nick Saban, what is it, like $3 or $4 million a year? It was something in there. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's nothing close.
Nick is making a measly $9.3 million.
Yeah, because I knew it was under 10, but yeah. So
yeah. So when you look at that gap, 100,000, 9.3 million, that's a huge gap. So I just hope that people and boosters and people who have the financial capability are able to send some money HBCU's ways. Keep sending money. It's
the NCAA. They're the ones with the money. They've hoarded this wealth for a very long time. So yes, it should be up to them to do something about that. And we know that they won't. But I love this for Eddie George. I love it for Tennessee State. It's a program. It's a university that could definitely use it. The history is rich there. And I believe there are quite a few active NFL players that went there currently. So yeah, I love it because it pushes a lot more focus to HBCUs. I went to an HBCU, so it's just it's even more exciting for people like me that have been champions for HBCUs for 30 plus years.
Of course. And here's the thing about it as well. As we saw with Dion, it just changes the culture of the university, not just the football team, not just athletics, but the university as well. It highlights that school because now you won't get the prime time like ABC games on a Saturday night, but you will start getting some ESPN, camera crews that are going to come down to the university and get some highlights of your game.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm ready for it.
For sure. I love to see it. But we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Hate it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 1 Hyper Royals.
Feeling these. I'm upset, like Drake said, that I didn't get these. So, I'm mad that I didn't get these this morning. If anybody has a plug on a size 12, holla at me.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stop getting angry about missing these releases that Son has stocked up in his garage. like we know where they are. So if you want to do some Ocean's 11 type work, I'm definitely in with you, Steve.
Yeah, need them.
And the Reebok Answer 5s.
Love these as well. I thought about pulling the trigger. They're only $130, but I just didn't.
Yeah, I never liked these, and I kind of still don't, and I kind of hate it for myself.
I'm kind of with you. I'm not a big fan, but. And the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 Bright Blue.
I'm low key feeling these. These sneakers they have to grow on you, Q. You have to see them out on someone's feet.
I've seen them.
Yeah, you seen these? Yeah.
Well, not these, but
yeah, they grew on me. I didn't like them at first, but then the whole style, I'm really feeling the 700. This colorway, it'd be cool. Nice little fall color shoe.
Yeah,
I'm digging them.
The style is decent. The colorway, I'm dazed and confused on that one.
Yeah, you got to be a Denver Broncos fan to like these too,
or a New York Knicks fan.
The Knicks are playing well right now, though.
They are.
We'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Shout out to Randall with the handle.
And last but not least, the Air Griffey Max the Air Griffey Max 1 Varsity Royals.
Mark Lewis is watching our show. He said, I don't know how Griffey was still making shoes. Of course. If there's some money to be had by Nike, they're going to use it. They're going to get the money. But he's Griffey. One thing about Griffey is he was my favorite baseball player. I don't know if you guys do that, but
Mine as well.
I used to get his cleats back in my baseball playing days. Every year, I used to look forward to baseball season because I knew I was going to get the new Griffey cleats.
Yeah, and I got the edition before these shoes, his very first ones. I got those. I saw them on Fresh Prince.
I love them. Now, Michael Jordan will be the presenter for Kobe Bryant's Hall of Fame enshrinement. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
for sure. Love to see it.
Yeah, I know. Steve has a lot to say about that one, but yeah, no, definitely.
You know, Michael Jordan. When you think about, and I say it all the time, the best basketball player that ever lived, of course, in my honest opinion, is Michael Jordan. Now he's the guy that we all looked up to. Now it's generational, right? But the majority looked up to Michael Jordan. In all sports, whether you were a football player, baseball player, whoever, looked up to Michael Jordan. Now, for him to be the one that is going to be the presenter of Kobe Bryant's enshrinement into the Basketball Hall of Fame, this is huge for the culture as well. Even though Kobe is not around to be here to see it, but it's going to be a good time, and I think that I want to exactly hear what Michael has to say about Kobe because he understood that Kobe was a mini me, so to speak, of MJ. I mean, when Kobe first came on the scene, it was like, oh, why is he has his tongue hanging out like MJ? Why is he trying to do the fadeaway? Why is he trying to wear the if you're watching this on
the
W Show KC, why is he wearing the wristband just like Jordan? Like he tried to emulate everything that Michael Jordan wanted to do, and for him to now be his speaker for the enshrinement, that's huge.
Definitely. No, I love it. You know, it's a narrative that like Steve said, you know, it really came to fruition. You know, just with everything in his passing and everything. It's what's supposed to happen. And you love it for leagues like the NBA that are very cognizant of their players and the legacy that they leave behind.
For sure. Now, Mark Cuban criticizes play-in tournament, says it's an enormous mistake. Hate it or love it.
You think it's Steve?
I love it because Mark Cuban, he's one of those players owners. You know, we have players coaches, we also have players owners. Now Mark Cuban is one of those guys. He's definitely going to stick his neck out for his players. I agree with what he's saying. He's saying that the NBA should have a straight up 1 through 20 tournament, let the bottom 4 play in, and you know, just let it play out like that. And I agree. I think because of what happened last year, you started this season right after you ended last season, which guys really didn't get a break. So I feel like they should have that little play-in tournament. Maybe something different. And for the NBA's bottom line, I really feel like it would help as well.
Yeah, no, and we know this is what it's for. It's for the bottom line. Totally. I don't think we even, you know, we have to go too far past that. It's to help stay in the black.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, Anthony Edwards, on pinning Timberwolves owner Alex Rodriguez, says, I don't know who that is. Hate it or love it.
Come on, young man. You gotta know who people like. A-Rod, come on, man. Come on.
He knows.
Come on.
He knows.
I don't know you. I don't know.
He's in that professional athlete realm, and if we're talking about A-Rod from just a short 12 to 13 years ago, you couldn't escape this guy signing with the Yankees and then winning. You know, no, I'm not buying it.
I don't know. If we ask the average 22, 23-year-old, do they know who A-Rod is? Of course they would. I would hope they'd say yes. I know who A-Rod is. However, he could have just been one of those guys that are like, hey, I just don't know.
And he's just fooling around too.
I don't know.
He's fooling around. We've known this guy to be a jokester. So
I definitely know who he is, so I think he should know too.
yeah, he knows.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now start.
We have his audio of what happened. Let's hear that.
We haven't gotten to chat with you since the news this weekend that Alex Rodriguez was getting ready to buy in as an owner here. Do you have any thoughts about him? Are you an A-Rod fan at all growing up or anything like that? What you think about what he might bring to the team?
A fan? What you mean? Like, who is he?
The baseball player, Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Okay.
I know he's gonna be the owner, but I don't know nothing about baseball.
Come on.
He told on himself. I don't know nothing about baseball. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him, and I don't know anything about baseball.
But that's a complete contradiction because listen to this.
When I was young, yeah, it'd be hot.
Really? How good a baseball player were you?
I could have went to the MLB.
MLB?
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
I'm serious though. You think I'm joking? I'm serious.
No, I love your confidence. What positions did you play?
I played pitcher, shortstop, third base, and center field.
Those are the prime positions.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, you were the best player on your team.
Is that now we talking?
You could hit the ball.
But I was 4th, 5th hitter. You know what that means?
Clean up. Yeah.
Straight clean up on aisle 3. Come get it.
Sounds like you're just an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows exactly who that is. He's trolling.
He was doing a heck of a job of it, Q, because he had a serious face messing with his bro. You know, I don't know who that is. Who's that?
Yeah.
Well, star receiver Julian Edelman, 34, retires, ending 12-year career with the New England Patriots. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
Look, love it for him. You know, he hadn't been doing well the past couple of seasons. You know, it's kind of hard when you don't have that extra help that you're used to having season in and season out.
I'm glad you brought that up, Q, because I don't want to always seem like I'm the contrarian. You know, I'm always a negative Nancy or whatnot. But I was gonna bring it up. You know, allegedly he used some performance enhancing drugs.
Oh, he did. He whatever they say he did. And he definitely did it. And that's it. You know, he did it because the media this week had completely just stepped over it, you know, and trying to have this Hall of Fame conversation with him. And not when over the first half of his career was on PEDs. So no, we need to, you know, just leave an asterisk by him, just like they do with Barry Bonds, and just let it go.
I really hope that there is no one who really feels like and believes that this guy should go to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we don't even need to validate that conversation. That's a no,
a strong no.
Like that's putting him next to Jerry Rice.
I agree. You know, Edelman's career, if you look at his career as a whole, he had 620 career receptions, which ranks 75th on the all-time list. That's just ahead of Jordy Nelson. Who? Jordy Nelson. Yeah, I don't know who that is either. But he also ranks. He has 6,822 yards total, which ranks 156. That's just ahead of fullback Larry Centers.
Exactly.
And not only that, but the icing on the cake, he's never been a Pro Bowler. He's never been an All-Pro. He was not even an all-decade choice. So come on, to be in the Hall of Fame, nah. I don't believe it.
No, give him his participation award and keep going, guy.
Now, participation award. A homeless man infiltrates USC football practice. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Love it.
According to Inside USC Scott Wolf, a homeless man infiltrated the Trojans practice last Thursday, going so far as to catch punts with special teams, eat at the McKay Center's dining hall, sleep in a suite, and share a jacuzzi with players. There's reportedly a picture
Yes.
floating around of him doing the latter.
Yeah.
How?
Here's the thing.
How?
Here's the thing. When you have, of course, preseason college football, you have what, 100 or so guys out there. A few of them aren't even on scholarship.
Yeah.
So the one coach is like, "Oh yeah, I know, you big 87 over there. Yeah, I recruited him." Or did you recruit him? I guess so. I think that's who that is over there. He has a helmet on. He looks the part, you know. So shout out to him. Shout out to him.
No, that's a great heist, you know, to pull off. Like he really pulled that off. But it's funny because it just shows the amount of money that the NCAA has to waste. That they don't care who walks in. But then, you know, you better not want to walk out of here. Anybody can walk in, but don't try to walk out on your own. So
Facts. Now, Jason Tatum uses an inhaler before games after his battle with COVID-19. Hate it or love it?
Hate it.
Yeah, I hate it.
Let's hear from Tatum.
You mentioned you and a bunch of the other guys have had to deal with COVID. I know that the breathing stuff lingered for you for a while. Would you say you're back at 100% yet?
Close, very close. You know, it's just it's a process. You know, it takes a long time. Like I take an inhaler, you know, before the game. You know, since I've tested positive, this is kind of, you know, help with that and open up my lungs. And you know, I never took an inhaler before, so I think, you know, that's something different. But I for sure feel better now than I did a month ago.
Yeah, we talked about this in our meeting earlier this week. You know, when you think about just the COVID-19 and all of the athletes that have had it, the normal folks who don't play sports, those folks that have it or have had it and have, you know, recovered from it. With the amount of technology that we have today, it's a wonder why we don't know more about the effects, the long-term effects, especially for athletes. You know, and for Tatum to have to use that inhaler, man, at this offseason, there should be some testing that goes on with Jason Tatum, with guys like that who have out here who have said, "Hey, I got to have an inhaler for me to be able to breathe, for my lungs to be able to be open."
Yeah,
you know, it has to be some testing because 5-6 years down the road, we don't want. You know, you look at LaMarcus Aldridge, who just retired because of his heart condition. We don't want this same thing to happen to a guy like Jason Tatum, who hasn't even hit his stride yet in his prime.
Mm-hmm. No, and you hate it for, you know, these players that are still expected to produce when they've had a disease, had a virus that you don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ran for the first time post COVID. I think it was in December. And my lungs definitely felt different. And I probably ran, you know, a little under a mile. And that's nothing compared to like what they run and the level that they put their body through. But yeah, it's very real. And like you said, in the next 5 to 6 years, we'll start finding out more. But that's just the unfortunate part about it. Instead of having shutdowns to understand it, you know, we kept things open for our entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, Cleveland Browns reach 1-year deal with worth up to $10 million. Source says, hate it or love it.
Love it.
I love it. Shout out to Clowney. Shout out to him because he's stealing some money right now. Most definitely.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's definitely injury prone, but he's a guy that adds a bit more to it. I mean, if we're talking about stealing money, we could talk about JJ Watt. But
don't do it.
But in the great scheme of things, I love it for him. And then I also love it for the Browns. Again, we talk about the AFC after the Super Bowl still looking very wide open. Of course, the Chiefs are going to be the favorites. But when you look at teams like the Bills and the Browns that are young teams that can compete, you love it for them in this instance.
For sure. Now, Rams are gathering information after a report accusing Aaron Donald of assault. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
Yeah, I love it for the comedy that came from it, because all of the stuff that came out, especially yesterday, showed that Aaron Donald was the innocent one, and then the guy's lawyer having to turn around and put out an apology yesterday afternoon or morning. It was just funny. But yeah, I like the memes that came about from that black guy.
Yeah. Come on, man, you got to understand that this player Aaron Donald is the top defensive player in the league. Defensive player in the league, and you want to test him? Come on, man. It just reminds me of that Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
Martin fought Tommy Hearns.
Exactly. Yes, that is the one. Yes, that is the one. But yeah, and Aaron Donald ultimately ended up being the guy that kind of like saved him from further damage. So yeah, it's just funny he was named in the lawsuit. But big ups to Aaron Donald. I know he feels great today.
Now, Kevin Durant invested in Coinbase. It was valued at $1.6 billion, and now it's expected to hit an over $100 billion valuation.
I
love it.
Yes. Love it. Yes. Love it. I love it for guys like him and Nas, that are black representatives in this venture capital space. So that's big.
Yeah, I love it as well.
For sure. And Dwayne Wade joins Utah Jazz ownership group. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
I love it, man. I love it. For D Wade, for D Wade to be able to be in that circle, right? When they let you in, you got to stay in, and it just goes to show you what it meant for Patrick Mahomes and LeBron James and other guys who put some money together and get with a major league team. And now you're seeing other guys like, all right, if they could do it, I can do it too. I can get into those circles and have more people that look like Dwayne Wade who are in these ownership groups.
Yeah, definitely. It's needed. Saw a joke on Twitter that this wasn't the first time a small guard from Chicago owned Utah. So that was funny. But now all eyes are on the NFL because the NFL keeps black ownership groups out. So now this puts pressure on them to follow the lead.
Heck yeah. Another great show today, y'all. As always, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Remember, you can watch a rewind of our show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. And also, we have a podcast of our show on the Sideline Sports Talk Network. Download it wherever you get your podcast. Until next week, we're out of here.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed of the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.